You ever get that feeling just like completely overwhelmed by all the skincare advice out there?
Oh, definitely. It's like a flood of information.
Yeah, ingredients, routines, and sometimes you just want to know what's the actual science, the real deal behind it all.
Exactly.
So that's what we're doing today. No surface stuff. This is a proper deep dive into some research one of you actually sent over.
That's right. We're taking one specific scientific study and really pulling it apart piece by piece, getting to the core insights.
Okay, let's do it. The study is called 15% azelaic acid gel modify the skin microbiota of acne vulgaris.
Right?
It's from the Journal of Dermatologic Science and Cosmetic Technology. And the researchers are Wengxin Yu, Huqi Shen, Belei Kai, Yunruji, Yu Wang, and Jing Wang. Quite a team.
Mm-hmm. And what they were really getting at was, okay, you've got this common acne treatment, this 15% azelaic acid gel. How does it actually change the little world of microbes living on the skin, specifically for people with acne vulgaris?
And they also looked at something else, right? Like how different the bacteria were on the acne spots versus the clear skin.
Exactly. Comparing affected versus unaffected areas on the same person.
Yeah.
It's a neat comparison.
Which is so key, I think. Because it's not just about, kill the zits. It's about understanding that whole ecosystem on your skin.
The microbiome, yeah.
So for you listening, this is really a shortcut to understanding the science behind acne and, well, a pretty common treatment. We think it might offer some new ways to think about your skin health.
Especially perhaps if you have darker skin, where acne can sometimes present differently or have unique considerations.
And here's where it gets kind of fun. This science, it actually connects to something really imaginative.
Right. The Cütie Catcherz AR comic series. It takes all this complex science and turns it into these rich metaphors, makes it easier to picture.
Totally. Because in Cütie Catcherz, the cuties, and you guys say it like cooties, remember that childhood thing?
Yeah, cuties.
They stand for Cutibacterium acnes. The bacteria people often link with acne.
It's a clever way in. Makes it memorable.
So let's get into the study details. Before they could see what the azelaic acid did, they had to figure out what the skin looked like before the treatment, the starting point.
The baseline, yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So they recruited 55 volunteers, all had mild to moderate acne,
Okay.
and they took swabs, little samples from the skin on their cheeks, one side where they had acne and the other side where the skin was clear.
So affected versus unaffected.
Right. And what they found straight away was pretty telling. The study showed that the types of microbial communities, the mix of bacteria, were significantly different between the acne areas and the clear skin areas.
So not just more bacteria, but a different kind of mix.
Exactly. The overall profile was different.
Interesting. And what were the main bacteria they found, like the big players?
In both areas, the dominant ones were things like Propionibacterium, Corynebacterium, and Prevotella, sort of the usual residents, you could say. But when they looked at the amounts, the abundance, that's where the differences really showed up. In the acne-affected skin, they found more Propionibacterium, more Staphylococcus, and more Veillonella.
Ah, okay.
And conversely, less Prevotella and less Corynebacterium in those same acne spots.
Right. So it really points towards that idea of balance, doesn't it? Like things getting out of whack.
Definitely. The study even mentions skin homeostasis, that sort of dynamic equilibrium, and it touches on the balance specifically between Propionibacterium and Staphylococcus. When that balance is off, it seems conditions like acne might pop up more easily.
It's like an ecosystem, right? If one thing overgrows, it affects everything else.
That's a great way to put it. And other research backs this up too, this idea that the interplay between different microbes is really important for healthy skin. So that's the before picture.
Got it. So then came the treatment. The volunteers used this 15% azelaic acid gel every day for, how long was it?
For 28 days, a full month.
Okay, 28 days. And they took more samples during that time?
They did. They checked again on day 14 and then at the end on day 28 to see how things were changing.
What did they find after the 28 days?
Well, this is where it gets quite interesting. They saw an overall improvement in the diversity of the skin microbiota in those acne-affected areas.
Improvement in diversity. So like more different types of bacteria showing up or better balance.
Both, really.
Yeah.
They measured diversity in a couple of ways. Alpha diversity, which is like the richness within one sample, and beta diversity, which is how different the samples are from each other. Both showed positive shifts.
Huh. So it wasn't just killing things off, it was maybe helping create a healthier mix.
It seems that way. It suggests a move towards a more balanced microbial environment. Now, they did note a slight decrease in Cutibacterium and Staphylococcus levels.
The ones that were higher in the acne spots initially?
Right. but that decrease wasn't actually statistically significant. So a small drop, but maybe not the main story.
Okay, so what was the main story then?
The really striking finding was a significant increase in lactobacillus.
Lactobacillus. Wow. Oh. Like the probiotic kind.
Exactly, those beneficial bacteria. Their abundance went up significantly from about 0.97% at the start to 1.60% after 28 days. And this was statistically significant, meaning it's unlikely to be just chance.
That's fascinating. So the gel might be actively helping the good guys.
That's what it suggests, doesn't it? It's not just about inhibiting certain bacteria, but maybe fostering others.
Okay, what else? Did the levels of the other bacteria change?
Yes. Another key point was that after those 28 days, the levels of Propionibacterium and Staphylococcus, the ones initially higher in acne areas, became much more similar to the levels seen in the non-acne areas.
So it kind of helped normalize things, brought the acne areas closer to the clear skin baseline.
That seems to be the effect, yeah. Like it was nudging the microbial community back towards a healthier state.
So why does azelaic acid do this? What's its mechanism?
Well, it's known to have a few tricks up its sleeve. The study mentions it can mess with how C. acnes makes proteins. It's also bacteriostatic, meaning it stops bacteria from multiplying, rather than killing them outright.
Okay, so it slows them down.
Right. And on top of that, it has anti-inflammatory effects. It's an antioxidant. And it has anti-keratinizing properties, basically helping to prevent pores from getting clogged.
Yeah.
So it tackles acne from multiple angles.
Makes sense. Okay. Science picture is getting clear. Let's connect this back to Cütie Catcherz. This is the fun part.
Right. So as you said, the cooties, they're the stand-in for Cutibacterium acnes.
Yeah.
But the comic is clever. It doesn't just show one type of cutie. There are different cutie types, right? And they behave differently.
Like the different strains of C. acnes in real life.
Exactly. Science tells us some strains of C. acnes are more associated with acne, while others might actually be beneficial or just neutral, part of healthy skin. The study even mentions the importance of looking at strains. The comic really captures that nuance.
And those Cütie Clouds in the comic, when things get chaotic, that's like the visual for, what was the science term? Dysbiosis.
Dysbiosis, yeah.
Yeah.
That an imbalance in the microbiome. A Cütie Cloud is basically a breakout visualized.
Got it. And how about the way the heroes fight back in the comic? Does that relate?
It totally does. Think about it. Maybe early on the heroes just try to blast all the cuties away. A broad approach.
Right, just get rid of them all.
But then they learn, they adapt, they realize a more targeted approach works better. And that mirrors what we see with azelaic acid in the study. It doesn't seem to just carpet bomb the microbiome. It helps regulate specific bacteria, like nudging Propionibacterium and Staphylococcus down a bit and boosting Lactobacillus. It's about restoring balance, not just eradication.
Moving from brute force to strategy.
Exactly. A more sophisticated tactic.
And the comic has things like biofilm fortresses or nodule nests.
Yeah. Those are great metaphors for real-world bacterial biofilms. These are like slimy, protective structures that bacteria like C. acnes can form, making them harder to treat.
So when the heroes use something called, like, Buster Gel?
That could represent real-world strategies designed to break down those biofilms, making the bacteria more vulnerable again.
Okay, this is cool. And the lactobacillus increase we talked about from the study. How does Cütie Catcherz show that?
With the probiotic pods. In the comic, these are used to help soothe the skin, to bring in beneficial elements. It directly mirrors the scientific idea supported by this study's findings that promoting beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus can be part of the solution.
It's genuinely impressive how they weave the science into the story like that. It makes these, pretty complicated biological ideas feel much more graspable and fun.
It really does. So stepping back a bit, what does all this mean for skin health in general? And maybe thinking about our listeners with darker skin tones too.
Well, first off, it hammers home that acne isn't simple, right? It's not just one bad bug.
Absolutely not. It's complex. And this study really underscores how important a balanced, diverse skin microbiome is for healthy skin for everyone.
Yeah. And even though this study didn't specifically isolate data for darker skin, understanding how a treatment like azelaic acid works, aiming for balance, promoting good bacteria, not just killing everything, that knowledge is powerful.
It is. It helps you make more informed choices. regardless of your skin type. It encourages you to think about skincare as nurturing an ecosystem, not just fighting a battle.
Exactly. And that perspective, that focus on balance, could be particularly relevant perhaps for people with darker skin who might experience things like post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation alongside acne. Promoting overall skin health and balance might be key.
Right. We can't make direct medical claims for darker skin based only on this study, of course, but the underlying principle that microbiome health matters is universal. It's about understanding the complexity.
Your skin is this intricate little world.
And we should also mention the study's own limitations, just to be thorough.
Good point. What did they mention?
The main thing was that their analysis mostly looked at the genus level of bacteria. So they could say Lactobacillus increased, but not necessarily which specific strains of Lactobacillus.
Right. So they saw the forest, identified the main types of trees like oaks and maples, but maybe didn't differentiate between a red oak and a white oak.
That's a perfect analogy. And as we know from science, and even from the Cütie Catcherz comic with its different cutie types, different strains within the same genus can act very differently.
So more research needed on the specific strains.
Definitely. The researchers acknowledge that future work should really zoom in on those strain-level effects.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. If we had to boil down the key messages from this deep dive, what would they be?
I think the main thing is that effective acne treatment, like with this 15% azelaic acid gel, seems to be about restoring balance, modulating the skin's microbiome. It's not just about killing bacteria.
Yeah, improving diversity, gently nudging down Cutibacterium and Staphylococcus in those acne areas.
And crucially, significantly boosting beneficial bacteria like Lactobacillus. It's about fostering a healthier ecosystem overall.
And it's just brilliant how Cütie Catcherz mirrors this. Different cutie types, the whole idea of balance being key, needing targeted approaches. It's all there, taken straight from the science.
It really is. So here's something for you to think about. Do you ever consider your own skin as this living, breathing ecosystem? What factors, products, environment, maybe even stress might be influencing its balance day to day?
It's a different way of looking at it, isn't it? Maybe worth digging a bit deeper into how your own skin microbiome might be playing a role in your overall skin health.
Definitely. And hey, if you have questions about your own skin journey or maybe other studies or topics you'd like us to explore,
Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
absolutely.
Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Hope it shed some light on the amazing microscopic world on your skin.
Until next time.
You got the cooties, we got the cure, fighting breakouts with facts and a whole lot of lore. It's Cütie Catcherz, beneath the skin, where science and story are about to begin. Let's go! You got the cooties, we got the cure, fighting breakouts with facts and a whole lot of lore. It's Cütie Catcherz, beneath the skin, where science and story are about to begin. You got the cooties, we got the cure, fighting breakouts with facts and a whole lot of lore. It's Cütie Catcherz, beneath the skin, where science and story are about to begin. Let's go!
That's a wrap on this episode of Cütie Catcherz Beneath the Surface, where science meets art and technology, and skincare gets a superpower treatment. If you learned something, laughed a little bit, or just loved the blend of art, culture, and biology, make sure to follow the journey at cutiecatchers.com and stay up to date on Instagram at Cütie Catcherz. Catch every new episode on Spotify and YouTube. Just search Cütie Catcherz beneath the surface. And remember, the cooties are real, but so is your power to fight back with knowledge. This is produced by me, Stephen Christian, of Stuck on an Island, in collaboration with Iltopia.